video is all about the benefits of packing light and why you should bring a carry-on, and I'm sharing all of my tips and tricks for packing. Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm McKay. I just got back from a 2-week trip to New York City. This was my first time to New York, so it was super fun, really exciting, and there was a lot that I ended up needing to bring. I did end up bringing just a carry-on suitcase and a personal item, so I'm going to be sharing what I packed throughout and kind of my thought process so that you can kind of get a feel of the things that you might need to bring on your trip. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about the benefits. There are so many benefits to packing light and just sticking to a carry-on bag. The first is obviously a lot less stress. So as soon as you get to the airport, you can head through security, go to your gate, and not have to worry about checking in a bag. And I remember that this was a really stressful situation last year. I went on a girls' trip. Our Uber ended up getting to our place 30 minutes late. So by the time we got to the airport, we were really behind schedule. And then on top of that, the two people I was with had brought checked bags, so they had to wait in a line, and it was very, very long. I was lucky and I only had a carry-on bag and a personal item, so I knew that I was going to be able to go through security if I needed to, but it was really stressful just worrying about them and if they were going to be able to make the flight or not, being in an international airport and speaking a different language. So I would definitely recommend, if nothing else, just for the sake of the airport experience, having a bag that you can keep with you at all times and not having to worry about checking it. And then obviously when you arrive, you can just head out of the airport and get going. You don't have to wait a baggage claim, worry if your luggage is lost or if somebody took it by mistake. It's with you at all times, so you know where everything is. Oh, and then the other thing is I know a lot of airlines will charge extra fees for having checked bags, so that's one more thing that you can avoid. I know travel can get pretty expensive, so not having to worry about your bag is great. Next is easy transportation, especially if you're somewhere that has good public transportation. Like I said, I just got back from New York and the public transportation there is really, really good. I was able to take the subway to and from the airport just fine. I could do my transfers, I could walk short distances to the apartment that I was staying at, and I didn't have any issues. Obviously, having a checked bag is very light and portable, which was great, especially for some of those busier transfers. But I think that if I had brought any more, I would have had to get a taxi, which is just not something that I wanted to do. Also, of course, if you're traveling to a new destination, you don't always know what it's going to be like. I remember last year I went on a trip to Italy and there were just so many hills and steps and cobblestones. I was very, very happy that I had just a carry-on instead of having to worry about dragging oversized luggage with me the entire time and then being exhausted by the time I got to the Airbnb. If you're taking public transportation especially, I really, really encourage you to pack light. It's going to be such a better experience. And then lastly is practicality. I think there's very few situations where more luggage is actually helpful. I think most of the time it's just not necessary. If you have access to laundry where you're staying, then you really don't need more than like a week or so worth of clothes. You'll be fine. You can just wash things. And that doesn't mean that you're wearing the same outfit over and over. You can still have quite a bit of versatility and options. With a well thought out travel capsule, you can have so many options and still feel good in what you wear and not feel limited or like you're re-wearing the same things over and over. All that to say, a carry-on is usually all that you need. So here's how to make packing light work for you. Okay, moving up here because it's a little more comfortable. Let's move on to what you actually need to pack and considerations to take in mind. Things to take in mind, things to have in mind. Considerations to take? I don't know. Considerations for packing. When it comes to planning your wardrobe, you really don't need nearly as much as you think. You just need a good travel capsule. And this doesn't need to be entirely different than your normal wardrobe. In fact, I think that it should actually be very seamless and represent what you typically reach for on a daily basis, because that's going to feel most like you, and you're probably going to be most comfortable mixing and matching those pieces anyway. The goal is to build a mini travel capsule of things that can be generally mixed and matched that are relatively versatile, especially if you're going on a longer trip. Then you're going to have more options and not feel like you're constantly repeating or getting bored. Here's how. Consider your itinerary and what you'll be doing. I'll use New York as an example. I didn't have a set itinerary, but I did have a general idea of some of the activities I would be doing, and I knew that I needed clothes for nicer occasions and then also for more casual settings. I did have several planned activities where I did want to dress up a little bit nicer. One of the nights my husband and I went to the Comedy Cellar in Greenwich, which was so fun. I also wanted to do museums. I knew that there was going to probably be a Broadway show, so I wanted some options that were just a little bit more dressed up. I really leaned into skirts and dresses, which was really nice. I don't feel like I have many opportunities to wear them in Washington, so that was fun for me. Oh, and then I also knew that we were going to have a nicer dinner with friends. And then I also brought one pair of heels for dinner, which honestly, I probably didn't need, but it is what it is. That's what I brought. Those were kind of like my nicer itinerary items. So the reason I was in New York is because I was dog sitting for a friend and I was staying at their apartment. So I knew that I definitely needed clothes for dog walking. brought a couple tanks and then a couple of athletic bottoms for long walks, and that was perfect. Since I was staying for a couple weeks, I did need to get groceries, and then I also was going to need some loungewear and travel wear. Lastly, I was also working for a couple of days, so I did bring some clothes that I could wear for that as well. So those were the general activities and formality level needs that I had. Next, consider practical needs like transportation and weather. Definitely think about how you're going to be getting to places. I knew that I generally wanted to rely on public transportation. I was going to be doing a lot of walking, so I needed to have comfortable shoes, sunglasses, and a baseball hat. I actually decided to bring 2 pairs of comfortable shoes, a pair of Birks and a pair of sneakers, so that I could alternate between the two and not get blisters, and that worked out pretty well. I knew I didn't want to be carrying a big heavy bag around with me all day, so I ended up just opting for a tote bag. That was great for groceries and just the little things here and there. It was also very secure. I ended up wearing that tote bag most days. And then I also brought a little belt bag, mostly for dog walks and just short little walks here and there where I didn't really need to carry much. Obviously, I probably could have brought a nicer bag too, but I just really couldn't be bothered. And I didn't feel like there were many times where we were only going to dinner or like only going to a nice thing. It was kind of like things needed to flow a bit better. And I wasn't going all the way back to the apartment just to change my bag and my shoes. Anyways, that's what I did, and it worked out. Also check the weather and the humidity. The humidity is going to make the summers feel hotter and the winters feel colder. So just something to keep in mind, especially if you're going somewhere that has a very different humidity level than you're used to. It ended up being pretty hot and humid in New York, so I ended up bringing a lot of lightweight, breathable fabrics and linens, things that were just going to help with the breathability and staying cool. This is my second cup of coffee today, and it's almost 7 p.m. Wish me luck. Hopefully I'm able to sleep tonight, but I feel like I really got to get this video done. I don't know if I'm gonna get it done, but we're gonna try. Okay, next is cultural appropriateness. Sometimes I'll kind of look up what other people are wearing, whether it's on TikTok or Reddit, and I'll see what people are actually wearing at my destination. I don't want to be too overdressed or underdressed, so it's just kind of helpful to get a sense of what people are wearing. Even better if you know someone who's actually gone. Last year when I was planning for Italy and I was thinking about what I wanted to bring, I was talking to a coworker who had actually been, and I had seen all of these different people saying to bring ballet flats, that they were really cute for like dinners and evenings. And she was immediately like, no, absolutely not. You're going to be walking all day. Your feet are going to be so tired. Just bring comfortable shoes. Don't try to bring anything cute. Don't bring heels. Don't bring ballet flats. Just wear something comfortable. And I'm so glad that I did. I ended up bringing another pair of Birks and some sneakers. And if I had brought anything else, it wouldn't have gotten worn and it would have just been wasted space. So definitely ask people who have been. I'll always trust a real person's recommendation over like a cute Pinterest outfit. If you're able to do that, definitely do. Okay, next up is color palettes. Love talking about color palettes. I could do this all day long. You can balance versatility and still have fun pieces. And a color palette is a really great way to start. The easiest way to think about a color palette is to start with a core set of neutrals that can be easily mixed and matched, and then start sprinkling colors that will also go. My core pieces were black, white, gray, and blue, and then a little bit of color here and there, but those are very much reflective of my everyday wardrobe. I think that if you're bringing things that you're already comfortable wearing, you're gonna feel pretty good in what you wear, and colors is a great way to do that. If you know that you feel good in a color, bring it and build the rest of your capsule around that. If you're feeling a bit stuck, try sticking with the same undertones. For me, I know that I am best suited with cool undertones. It's what I feel good in, and that's what my wardrobe is centered around. And I know that those things are going to very easily work with each other, and they're not going to compete. Sure, it's not always the most exciting, and do whatever you want. You can wear whatever you want, of course. Wear what you feel good in. But if you were just looking for something that's easy and foolproof, try to stick with the same undertone, whether that's all warm or all cool. Those things are just naturally going to go together very easily. Dresses are kind of the exception overall. It's a full outfit, obviously, so I don't think it really matters if it matches the rest of your capsule. Do whatever you want there. Next, try to visualize what you're bringing and how you want to style things so that it's very easy to get dressed on your trip. It can be really helpful to see everything in one place and to kind of play around with things a little bit in advance. One way to do this is with the Stylebook app. This is something that I use on a regular basis to track my wardrobe. So it's something that I've already implemented. Everything in my wardrobe is digitized, so it's very easy for me to see what I have and to play around with things and to like literally put outfits together. So even if something's in the laundry, I can still visualize it, see what my options are, and kind of hone things in a bit until I like where things are going. Obviously, you don't need to do this. I know that most people don't have a digitized wardrobe, but really try to play around with things in advance if you can and see things all together. So maybe that means that you go in and you try things on, you try on different outfit combos, and you take pictures of the ones that you like. Maybe you write down what you want to wear and you have those options in your notes app. I think oftentimes we tend to overpack because we feel like we need options or that maybe we don't have enough. And this is a really good way to kind of show to yourself that you do have options that you like and you don't have to think about it when you're on your trip. This could be down to the outfit level. So last year when I was going to Italy, I knew I was going to have a very packed itinerary and I knew I was going to be taking a lot of pictures. So I decided to give myself some options in advance and I put some outfits together. And then every day I could just go in and see what I wanted to wear. Other times I just want a general idea that things go together and I kind of want to get a sense of things in one place. So for New York, I didn't have any set plans. I had tons of flexibility, so it didn't really matter if I had the outfit selected. I just needed to know that things were going to work and that I had options. So definitely recommend visualizing your capsule in some way. Lastly, and this one's a bit controversial, I don't think that you need to follow any strict packing rules. I know that it's really popular and people will say like bring X amount of tops or X amount of bottoms depending on how many days you're going to be there. And I think it's a little bit silly and a little bit arbitrary, especially if you have a variety of activities and you need to be changing throughout the day. It just doesn't make sense and it's a little bit silly. If you have the space to bring more and you feel like you need it, then use it. Moving on to the clothes that I packed. I brought 2 dresses, starting with the Reformation Balia dress. This is newer to my closet. It's 100% linen and it has pockets and I ended up getting a ton of use out of this. I also brought a silk slip dress. This one is from Current Era and it's beautiful. I love it every time I wear it. It's cut on the bias and it's so flattering. The only thing is that I've had a lot of issues lately with wearing any kind of sticky bras. For some reason, the adhesive has started bugging me and I didn't want to go braless. So I decided that I was going to wear this as a skirt. And I ended up bringing one of my husband's t-shirts to wear as an oversized top. Here's the t-shirt I brought. Very basic, very straightforward. And it was a little funny as I was packing, my husband was like, have you seen my white t-shirt? I can't find it anywhere. It's not in the laundry or anything. Do you know where it is? And I was like, yeah, it's in my suitcase. So this is the t-shirt that I stole. I ended up wearing a belt to turn it into more of a crop top. And then I wore this with the dress kind of as a top and a skirt. Moving on to tops, I brought this Reformation tank. It was super versatile. This also got a lot of wear and has just been such a great basic for me lately. Obviously, I have a thing for blue and white striped tops. I had to bring this t-shirt with me. It's been one of my favorites for a while now and has always been in the rotation. I brought this little black top that ties in the front. It's 100% cotton and really comfortable. This is a silk top from Doen. It was extremely lightweight and breathable. It's very, very sheer and was great for those hotter days, but still also a little bit more dressed up and polished. This is one of my favorite button downs. I've had this for the longest time. It's just from H&M, but it's 100% linen, so it's super comfortable and breathable. I brought one lightweight cashmere sweater. I wore this a little bit in the evening. It was also great to have around the apartment and for travel days. I just had it in my backpack and I could pull it out and use it if it was a little chilly on the plane. I had one gray t-shirt, mostly for travel and lounging. Moving on to bottoms, I had one pair of denim shorts, a black mini skirt. This was also super comfortable and got a ton of use. White linen pants, these were also great to have. And one pair of white canvas shorts. Honestly, I didn't end up needing these. I felt like it was just so hot out. I typically reached for the skirts or the dress or a little bit more of my activewear, but I ended up not needing these. So I would pack less fitted shorts in the future because I was just so hot from all of the walking and the heat. I just needed things that were super breathable and this was just too fitted and close to my skin. Moving on to travel, activewear, and loungewear, I brought one tank. This was really handy. This is from Uniqlo and it has a built-in bra, which is super, super helpful. It's very breathable, very lightweight, and got a ton of use. This is the second tank top I brought, also from Uniqlo. This one's cropped, which is kind of nice, gives a different look. Also has a built-in bra, which is super convenient, very comfortable. And I had one athletic tank top from Buff Bunny. I also had one pair of loose black shorts and one pair of micro shorts. For the plane and lounging around, I just brought a comfortable black sweatshirt and black leggings. This is what I brought strictly for loungewear and pajamas. I have 2 tops and 1 bottom. The last true piece of clothing was this rain jacket because it was a bit rainy while I was there, and I don't think I would bring this again. In the Northwest, people really don't need to use umbrellas. We just have jackets, especially if they have hoods, and that wasn't the case in New York. It was just so hot, I didn't want a jacket, and most people just use umbrellas, and I did the same. I either used an umbrella or just went without. So I wouldn't bring this again, at least not in the summer. And then lastly, we have some miscellaneous stuff. So I did bring a baseball hat. This was great to have on sunny days. I had one belt bag, and then I ended up getting a lot of wear out of just a Reformation tote bag. I wore this most days. It was really, really comfortable. It's very secure. Nothing's gonna come out of here. So I think I'm gonna start wearing tote bags just casually around more often. And then lastly, I don't really know if this counts, but I did bring sunglasses. These are just my prescription sunglasses. I really didn't want to have to fuss with contacts while I was there, so these were great to have. You can just clip the sunglass portion on and off, so that was super handy. And then I just brought the case with me, and this worked great. Oh, and then shoes. I brought one pair of white sneakers. These are from Jemmy, and I think that they're pretty comfortable for what they are. With how many steps I was getting, I was walking about 15 to 20,000 steps a day. So anything, I was going to be a little bit tired by the end of the day, but these held up pretty well. I also had one pair of black Birks. These are nearing the end of their life, but they were great to have. Last was a pair of strappy heels, and I only wore these once. I thought I was gonna get more wear of these for dinners and nicer occasions, but I found that once I left the apartment, I didn't want to come all the way back and make that commute just to change my shoes. So once I left the apartment, I usually just stayed out for most of the day, and I really didn't need these. Unless you're taking a taxi a lot of places or you're only going out for dinner, I wouldn't recommend bringing these, and this is something that I didn't need to bring. That's it for the clothes I brought. Oh, and then I almost forgot, I brought one pair of straight leg jeans. They were these ones, and they were really nice to have. All right, I've been yapping for a while, so let me show you how I actually packed things. And I'm back on the floor. So the first thing is that I know everybody and their mom loves packing cubes, and I don't. I know packing cubes are super popular and then a ton of people swear by them. I haven't had success with them. I don't use them. I actually have tried them in the past. I've tried them like regular packing cubes, and I've tried compression packing cubes, and I just don't like them. I did a little experiment where I tried folding my clothes and then rolling my clothes using packing cubes, and then just packing how I regularly do, and I found it didn't save any space. I'm gonna show you how I pack. Obviously, do whatever you want, but I will typically have like my clothes and everything that I need to be accessible on this side. It was a little bit rainy in New York. I did bring a raincoat. I'll often have a sweater or a jacket or something like that kind of just on top in case I need it when I leave the airport. So this is nice and easy to grab. And then here I have all my clothes, and I just fold them and squeeze them in. Obviously, you can get compression cubes, but if you just fold them in like this, then they're gonna stay put the same, like they're still getting compressed. So I don't really see the benefit of packing cubes. Everything stays put. It's never been an issue. Like nothing flies around. Everything is just fine and secure. This is also the way that I fold my clothes in my dresser, so that's probably why I like it. But then I can see everything all at once. It's also really convenient. Unless I'm on a pretty long trip, I'm not usually taking things out of my suitcase and putting it in the closet or in the dresser, whether that's an Airbnb or a hotel or whatever. I just don't see a need, and I also have this weird paranoia that I'm gonna forget something at the hotel. I just bring everything back to the suitcase. This is my home base. It keeps me nice and organized, so I just put things back when I'm done using them, unless they're like dirty and need to get washed. All of my clothes just live like this, and things just go back in when they're done. So this is the clothes side. I have like some socks and underwear and a belt and hat and that kind of stuff in this corner, and then the rest is just everyday clothes. So I have a lot of my bottoms, my tops, and then mostly like dresses, loungewear, pajamas kind of stuff. So that's what works for me. This side is everything else. I typically don't need this. I feel like I have plenty of space, so I just have like salon paws just in case. And then maybe I'm a little weird about this, but I always keep a dryer sheet in here. I feel like it keeps things a little bit fresher. It probably doesn't, but that's what I like to tell myself. This side houses everything else. I have a couple pairs of shoes. I have my Birks. I have a belt bag in here. I have a pair of heels. Honestly, I only wore them once, so I can't say that I would recommend bringing heels if you're taking public transportation. I brought a hot tool, and then I have my toiletry bag. And then underneath here, I have my tote bag. I know this toiletry bag looks really big, and it is bigger than it needs to be, but I really do prioritize staying organized. I find that a lot of Airbnbs and hotels have pretty small bathrooms and bathroom counters, so there isn't really a whole lot of places to put stuff. I like this bag because it keeps me super organized. It kind of rolls out into these different compartments, and there's a hook at the top. I don't think I've been anywhere so far that hasn't had somewhere to hang it, so there'll often be like a towel hook or something like that that I can just hang it from, and it will just live in the bathroom or near the bathroom for the entire time, and I can keep everything organized. things don't get all jumbled up and I don't have to keep going back to my suitcase. They just all live in one place together. So obviously I have like toothpaste, toothbrush, floss, that kind of stuff. In here I'll have like my deodorant, hairbrush, kind of miscellaneous stuff, and then all of my liquids. And then in this section I'll have makeup, and I have like a bag inside of here for makeup brushes. So again, everything is nice and organized. And then I'll have miscellaneous stuff down here like my retainer. That's everything. Let's talk about toiletries for a minute. I just use one of these clear quart-sized bags. Is that what they are? I tend to bring pretty small containers. I'd rather have a little bit of everything instead of a few larger things. And I really, really like these containers from Target. I think they're like $1. They're really nice. They just kind of stack together really well, and they work a lot better than the other ones I've tried. I've tried some from Walmart and they just break on me or they leak. These are fine. I haven't had any issues with them. They're super affordable. And I'm kind of curious what it would be like if I got like a magnet strip and then I could just stack them. So I don't know, maybe I'll try that at some point. I'll also just reuse things if they seem like the right size for what I need. So if I already have something that works, I'll just reuse it. It's not like anyone's gonna see these, so it doesn't really matter if they're cute. The other thing that I really love and has changed the game for me is bringing mini spray bottles. I have one for my cellar water, I have one for my leave-in hair conditioner, and then I also brought one with some hypochlorous acid spray. I always break out when I travel, especially on the planes. Oh, and then I brought a face mist because I had the room. This was like a luxury. I didn't need to bring all of these things. But I brought hypochlorous acid spray, which was really nice. I could use it on some of those days when I went out and I was feeling a little sweaty, or on travel days. So that was nice to have. And then everything else is just pretty basic, not anything exciting. I have nasal spray and sunscreen and face wash and all of that good stuff. There it is. I'm kind of curious about the bags that open up like this way, so you don't have to dig through things. Instead of opening from the top, they open from the side. But this is working fine for now. Here's just a close-up of the bag. There is a section on the front where you can put like makeup and makeup brushes, but I find that it gets too bulky, so I don't really use it. This is just off of Amazon. If I was going on a shorter trip, I'm sure I wouldn't bring anything this big. Last thing in this category of things to bring is laundry detergent. This is really great if you're in a small space, or if you're on something like a cruise and you do not have access to laundry, or if you just want to wash a couple things here and there. This is the best tip. I can't remember where I found it, but I've been doing it for a while now. And basically you just take like a regular kitchen cleaning sponge and just kind of like douse it in laundry detergent and then wait for it to dry. Once it dries, cut it into little squares, and these weigh pretty much nothing, and you can just take these with you anywhere. I'll usually take it in this bag, and then I can wash little things in the bag itself. I can kind of like shake it around, and it's just super easy. I have some squares with dish soap, which is nice if you want to wash other things, or if you have stains, or you want to clean a water bottle. This is really nice. And then I'll also bring some little detergent ones. Lastly, we need to talk about your personal item. I opted for a straightforward black backpack. I actually originally bought this for work, and I've liked it so much, I just bring it on all of my trips now. The thing that's super nice about it, especially for work, is that it pops open from the top. So it's super easy to just access things and pull things out, instead of a traditional backpack where you have to like really go digging through there. It has a ton of pockets, and then my favorite feature is that it has a luggage strap on the back. So this will just slide right onto the carry-on handle, and as soon as I get to the airport, I put my backpack on top of my carry-on and I'm good to go. I don't have to carry this around. The one thing that I don't like is that the straps are super narrow. I don't know why they did that. Obviously, no one's neck is this tiny, so they kind of have to spread out. But there are a ton of pockets. I always keep some kind of wipes back here. You just never know, it's nice to have. And then let me show you what I brought for the inside. In the main compartment, I'm able to fit my laptop, a book, anything that I need. I always bring a sweater with me because I'm always cold. Then I also have any kind of chargers or cords in this bag, which came with the backpack, super handy. I always make sure to bring an eye mask, especially if it's a late flight. Definitely well worth it. And then kind of a bag of miscellaneous stuff. So I can show you what's in here. It's not anything exciting, but let's do it. I just want to make sure that I have any essentials easy to access. This one's kind of weird, but I always have a pair of headphones specifically for the airport. They just live in this backpack. They're just old school headphones. I think that they're a lot more comfortable than AirPods anyway, so they just live here. I also have regular headphones for my phone, obviously a wallet. I have hand sanitizer, Aquaphor hypochlorous acid spray, again for travel, which I really liked. I also brought some eye drops. The last thing, which is really personal to me, is floss. I always have floss on me. I would rather jump out of the plane than have to be annoyed with having food stuck in my teeth for 6 hours. And that is most of it. Also, any kind of medication or pills, make sure that you bring that, obviously. You really want to have that on you. If you need to bring a lot of medication with you, I really like having some kind of a travel container like this. It snaps on the sides, so nothing is going to come flying open. And then when you do open it, it has different compartments. So if you get there and you only need to bring a few things with you every day and you can just leave the rest at home, you can do that. There's these different compartments, and I feel like it's pretty discreet because it's tinted. And then lastly, I always bring a water bottle with me. This was originally like a kombucha bottle, I think, and I've just ended up reusing it a ton. I thought this was gonna be a temporary thing, but this is now my usual water bottle. I don't know, it's just really light and easy to carry around. And if I lose it, it's not a big deal. Just bring some kind of a water bottle and you can refill it wherever you're at. Again, here's the bag. It has a ton of pockets. It has a lot on the inside as well. So really, really handy for travel. So there you have it. That's my guide to packing light. I would love to know where you're going in the comments below. And if you're still here, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.